why is a trade union, and maybe in particular IWGB, a good fit for a foster care worker in the UK?
Yeah, so there's a number of organizations and different legal entities, charities, companies, trade unions out there that seek to represent foster care workers. Trade union is obviously the option that we believe in, and in particular the IWGB. And I think there's four main things that a trade union structure, and in particular the IWGB, offers, which are important and set us apart. The first one is democratic structures.
Mm-hmm.
So trade unions are democratic institutions, at least they're meant to be, and the IWGB certainly is. So everyone in charge of the union, including myself, the entire executive committee of the IWGB, etc., we're all elected. And we're all elected every year, so we have a one-year mandate. Now, everyone who's a member of the IWGB fits in to a branch which is organized around either their workplace or their industry. Currently, there's a branch which corresponds to foster care workers for England and Wales, and another branch which corresponds to foster care workers in Scotland and Northern Ireland. The branches have regional groups in certain areas, so foster care workers can attend local meetings, meet other carers in their area, take decisions about local campaigns or what it is they want to petition the local authority for. There's an elected executive committee for the branch, so the chair and the secretary and whatnot of the branch are all elected by the membership. And then two officials from each branch also sit on the IWGB executive committee. So every time there's an important political or strategic decision taken by the IWGB, foster care workers will always have a voice in that, even if it's something that doesn't correspond just to foster care. So I say that the first major thing is democratic structures. The other issue I'd highlight is what we're talking about just now, which is that what we're doing to try and obtain worker status, both through test case litigation and through the all-party parliamentary group. The third thing is the political lobbying we're doing to try and obtain a central register or licensing body for foster care. And that's been one of the top priorities of the IWGB when it comes to foster care for the past few years. And for those who don't know, what we're trying to do is get the government to set up an independent accredited body which takes out of the hands of local authorities and IFAs the responsibility for training, registration, deregistration, allegations procedures, etc. Because we know that right now we have a sort of kangaroo court system. But if we had an independent regulator, like the medical profession does, like nursing does, like so many other professions do, then it would dramatically reduce the scope for unfair procedures, for petty personality disputes to result in deregistrations, for deregistrations functioning as a sort of de facto blacklisting. So we'd like to solve a lot of those problems. Now that happens on a devolved basis. So we're trying to get the all-party parliamentary group in the Westminster Parliament to push for legislation to set up this body for England and Wales. And separately, we've been engaging with members of the Scottish Parliament, again from across the political spectrum, to try and get similar legislation passed in the Scottish Parliament to set up an independent regulatory body for Scotland. And the idea has been very warmly received so far across the political spectrum in Scotland. So that's, again, the political lobbying is another sort of main focus of the IWGB when it comes to foster care. And then finally, is the other major thing I would highlight is the individual caseworker representation the IWGB can provide. So the IWGB legal department deals with lots of foster care cases on allegations, child removal procedures, representing foster care workers if they want to make a complaint against a local authority or IFA, etc. The IWGB legal department is highly professional. They have a very high success rate, and they've been involved in lots of important cases, not just for foster care, but also for worker status cases in the gig economy, for other test cases. And their work has been renowned not just nationally, but internationally. And there's been press coverage of the different cases they've been involved in and whatnot. So I have a lot of confidence in the IWGB legal department. And that's a core sort of part of what the IWGB does, is providing that individual casework.